Hello, my name is Katarina, and I'll be talking about why the United Nations should be disbanded. The United Nations was created on October 24th, 1945, and has 192 nations today. There are 5 permanent members: China, France, Russia, the UK, and the United States. And they were established to keep peace throughout the world and keep friendly relationships between countries. So my first point is, in spite of the United Nations, the world is in political instability. First of all, the UN hasn't been taking action in Syria. The Prime Minister David Cameron makes a comment on the United Nations for taking no action in Syria. He declared the blood of young children is a terrible stain on the UN reputation. The Asia Times Online also said there are sharp divisions in the Security Council, where Asia and Russia voted 3 resolutions against Assad, who is the president of Syria right now, that they're trying to overthrow. This may well be the biggest political failures of the United Nations. The UN is also taking no action in Israel. According to Milan Sumi, the chairman of BBC, he said the UN was prompt to recognize the human rights issue, but they have failed to recognize the brutal massacre of the innocent children in Palestine. And the UN is also taking no action in Iran. According to Press TV, the possession of atomic weapons by such a regime will raise international concern by 100 times. The regime is based on killing, oppression, aggression, and threat. My second point is the United Nations bureaucracy is not effective. Countries governed by non-peaceful dictators and regimes typically use debates to delay issues in their favor. Over the past 50 years, the United Nations has existed. These debates alone have not solved a single issue. Direct military actions, negotiations, threats are the only real positive events that are bringing change. The UN cannot create consensus between its members. According to Bernd de Boosman, the United Nations General Assembly criticized the widespread and systematic human rights violation by the Syrians. Russia, China, and 10 other countries are voting against resolutions that the UN is proposing. According to John Mearsheimer, according to the rules, one no vote from the permanent members can put down a measure. Permanent members use this to strike down even their own nation's interests. UN members do not have an equal voice. According to Josh Rogan, the United States is assessed to provide 22% of the UN budget and only 10% of professional positions in the Secretariat, 8% in the World Health Organization, and 7% in the Refuge Agency. According to the UN News Center, citizens from 16 countries do not occupy any positions within the UN Secretariat, and 11 nations are underrepresented within the personnel. My third point is disbanding the United Nations would improve political stability. First of all, disbanding the United Nations will save us money. Throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the UN debts have accumulated to $1 billion. The United States has split into 2, the rich and the poor nations. The poor nations claim that they are poor because they're using their annual wealth to pay off the world's richest international nations. The UN needs to stop fighting for power. According to Henning Mebler, humanity needs a UN that is not the agent of the most powerful interests, but gives voice to those who would otherwise remain unheard. According to Bernd de Boosman, in February, Germany, Japan, India, and Brazil urged to become veto-wielding permanent Security Council members. He also said the expansion of the Council would result in a decision-making process that is even more difficult and time-consuming than it is right now. According to Richard Gott, in fact, in its current form, the UN is a conservative organization that serves the interests of capitalist countries. So in conclusion, we should disband the United States, and that will help improve our political stability. Thank you.